After the Nintendo Direct for Mario Kart World, we did learn one major thing with the free roam mode, is the fact that we'll be having missions return in the form of random P-switches. Apparently there's hundreds of these P-switches all over the world, but what else does free roam need? And what type of missions do we need to see from free roam? Because let's face it, this seems to be one of the major parts of this game, so Nintendo really has to follow through, especially at an $80 price tag. I can't wait to see what this world has in store for us. But today, yes, I'm going to talk about all the missions that I want to see and also compare them to the past missions from Mario Kart DS, and also discuss what else the free roam needs to have outside of these missions as well. So I made a video on missions about a week ago, so I'm not going to exhaust the topic, but pretty much Mario Kart DS had missions. These missions were laid out on various different tracks that were in the game, and these missions were pretty basic for the most part. It was drive through some tires, collect coins, defeat enemies with items, and doing some pretty basic driving maneuvers like drifting, driving backwards, or finishing a basic 3-lap race in a certain amount of time. One thing I'll mention is that Mario Kart DS's missions were definitely held back by the lack of a world to put these missions in, because you only had the tracks that existed, so they would just section off a small part of the track and have you race through it doing some type of small challenge. Where this time around, we actually have an entire open world to drive around in, meaning that these missions can be extremely more unique. Now, we've only seen two so far. We've seen one where Toadette has to pick up these spawned blue coins on these 3 wires that she can flip in between, utilizing the brand new rail riding mechanic, and then the second one we see is all not that unique. It's just simply driving through rings. But there are obstacles, there are rolling armadillos, and there's also giant pegs and pillars in the way that are also guiding you as to where to go. So it seems to be a lot more unique than just tires that we drive underneath. But still, yes, it looks like we're going to have a mixture of some classic themed ones, probably a lot of new ones that utilizes the world that you're in. Maybe some that you get to do on top of the water, since you can drive on the water now, like a jet ski, and also in the air. So I can't wait to see what they come up with. You can have P-switch missions where you have to get into those giant vehicles, and maybe they can like fire rockets or something, or you have to ram it into certain things floating in the ocean, or maybe there's a boss battle where you have to slam it into the boss or something. Looks like the game is going to have a good little chunk of these vehicles, so they could be used for missions like even the semi-truck, or maybe even the helicopter that we saw at the end of the Mario Kart Direct. What if there's P-switch missions kind of like Koroks, where it will spawn 2 NPCs, where one will give you the food that you have to deliver to the other, which is like in some completely different region, and you have a time limit to deliver that food until it gets cold. But there's P-switch missions where it makes you have to reach a specific area in time, like you have to get into the other side of the city, and it spawns a bunch of traffic, and you have to hurry up and get there before the time runs out. Or maybe you're going across that giant bridge, and you have to get to the other end of the bridge, but there's tons of traffic now that it spawns. In a way, this kind of works as like wonder effects, which I think a lot of us really was hoping that was in this game, but P-switches could easily do that. If the P-switch is capable of spawning and really doing anything, then any mission is possible. So I guess what I'm saying is I really hope they don't just copy and paste missions in each region. Like in the desert region, you're going to do the same 30 missions that you're going to do in the jungle region, but it's just different now because you're in a different region. You know what I mean? I hope they're all very unique and very specific based on where you are on the map, and that each mission is very unique in and of itself, where you're not having tons of duplicates. It's okay to have a couple. Like I do believe there's going to be other blue coin missions, but let us collect them in different ways that's more than just switching rails. Like hopefully that's only one of a kind. Now we may not have gotten a proper story mode that we all really wanted, but there's something else that they could do to kind of make this mission mode feel as close to a story mode as possible, is also give it boss battle missions. Remember, these were just missions in Mario Kart DS, where yes, they had actual boss battles where you'd have to use an item in order to take out that boss, whether it be using a mushroom to push a bully into the water, or using a shell to hit the eye rock in his eye in the palm of his hands. Whether they just have a bunch of returning bosses or a mixture of old and new bosses, I really hope to see boss battles in some capacity in this game, and it could work the same way. Now with a giant open world, you can have a P-switch in one area that maybe spawns a giant boss, and maybe you have a certain time to defeat it, or maybe you just have to defeat it straight up without any time limit. Well, there's a couple instances in this game where I feel like this could be easily done, and there's a couple areas where I could say, hey, you could slap a boss battle mission right there if they just had a P-switch in that location. For instance, here on DK Spaceport, the whole track is kind of like a boss battle's taking place, as a giant Robo DK is tossing tons of barrels down at you each section of the track. So it would make sense if there was some type of Robo DK boss battle, where maybe he's throwing barrels at you and you have to hit him with bombs or other items in order to break him apart. And it wouldn't be just a 1, 2, 3, he's he's dead, he'd have multiple different hits in order to break apart piece by piece. It would be so cool and just something that would be a great little mission to have. Some other boss battles we could see is some giant sandmargs jumping in and out of the sand. You have to take them out, or just one giant king one like the one we saw in the trailer in the desert region. Maybe a giant T-Rex spawns in the dino region that we have to take out, very similar to the giant one we see walking across Dino Jungle. Maybe we have to take out Behemoth, and he kind of works like Big Boo from Luigi's Mansion, where you have to keep hitting him with items and he'll break apart into smaller Boos that you have to break apart as well. Kind of like a Russian doll effect, where he keeps getting smaller and smaller and more copies of him shoots out. What about the area that they keep showing with a giant whirlpool and nothing there? Are you telling me that there's not going to be a boss battle spawn here? If they don't spawn a Gooper Blooper, especially with the whole aesthetic being a shipwrecked shore, as you can see it's right by Wario's shipyard, they could have the thunder and lightning appear and just a giant battle against Gooper Blooper on the water would be awesome, where you have to take out his tentacles and then eventually take out his face or something. I already know if this doesn't happen, everybody's going to be expecting it and say, but Nintendoland, you said it would happen. You hyped us up. Listen, if it doesn't happen, blame Nintendo, because there's no reason in the world they should have a random whirlpool out here in the middle of the water with nothing going on and nothing causing it. Like, why is it even there then? I'm not going to go over every single boss that they could actually add. That's something for a separate video, but instead I'm also going to move on past just the missions, because I do feel like even if this world has hundreds of missions and even panels to activate and all types of things to find like that as far as collectibles, there still needs to be more to this world. There needs to be reasons to explore, and whether it be secret Easter eggs or hidden details or things that are spread around the world that you can share with your friends. Like, dude, I went to this location and I found this that was hidden in this alcove or this cave. I think they will have things like this, because one thing we saw was a Super Mario Kart roster board where it showed all the characters from the very first Mario Kart game, and it showed all the characters posing in front of their classic versions outside of Donkey Kong, unless that is... yeah, I'm not going through that right now. But yes, with any open world, I always hope that there's fun things to find. I mean, you can look at Breath of the Wild, not much Tears of the Kingdom, but Breath of the Wild had so many cool secret areas on the map that just tied into lore, or maybe a side story or quest, and just areas that you can explore within cave systems and just like ancient fossils you'd find, or cool callbacks to past games with the names of location, or even just locations being brought back from past games but changed for Breath of the Wild. So I would love to have a map full of little secrets and Easter eggs and callbacks to past games as well, considering the fact that lots of the music is going to be remixes of not only past Mario Kart games and tracks, but also past Mario games in general, as we heard Bob-omb Battlefield within the actual Nintendo Direct for this game. I'm very much looking forward to driving around in this free roam mode. Honestly, I probably could just drive around and have fun doing tricks and just doing different types of parkour things with my cart around this open world, but I really do hope there's some secrets and stuff to actually find instead of us just driving around endlessly, not really getting anything done. But I'm really looking forward to these P-Switch missions, and I can't wait to see what Nintendo's cooking up for us. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Kart World, and let me know down below what you want to see from this free roam mode and what you want to see from these P-Switch missions as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.